miracle, it will disappear.
Biden administration got into the White House. It was like, okay, is there who's even getting vaccines? Who's moving the vaccines? Come to find out, nothing is happening with the vaccines. It's been the states. Only the states have been distributing. It's been, doing the vaccinations. There has been no federal response at all. Nothing's been happening. This is why it's been a total disaster. This is why New York State is running out of vaccines. How can you even trust a vaccine if you only get half a vaccine? I mean, it's just like, it's total crazy, And then before, we recommended using bleach and hydroquality oil and all this crazy shit. So
can you say that again?
Hydroquality
hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, hydroxychloroquine. Oh yeah, hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, something like yeah.
Let's try that one more time.
So I want to like show this real quick. Like Biden signs a burst of virus orders. So this article breaks down a publicly available piece of work. It's like almost 200 pages of the White House release. So it's not just like Trump just rambling and walking off without asking questions. Like Biden said a little bit of things, but if you want to read like the context of what he said, you can go to the White House website and read it. We're not in the dark anymore when it comes to kind of shit as much. So help us on the way. So a lot of things has been going down. The whole thing about the requirement for Americans to wear a mask while traveling. So one directive is addressing healthcare inequalities in Black communities. They always like to use we're back to using minority again because the Democrats back in office. So back to using minorities and people of color. At least with Trump, it was just like the blacks and the Antifa.
I do want to address Waffle's comment. He said, big enough to admit my mistakes. Trump was full of shit. Don't forget UV dildos. But wasn't that the fucking point? If it's a UV dildo that's supposed to go up your ass, of course it's going to be full of shit. That only
So pretty much now they're requiring transport providers to provide required masks. That's going on. The eviction foreclosure moratorium up to September is going to happen. And because of the fact that like there is no plan at all, there's no structural plan, there's no plan, there's nothing. So pretty much this is not less of kind of like a bill being passed or like of giving you the numbers that they're giving people. It's the fact that there's no plan. They have to outline like a cultural statement, like what we plan to do now, because there literally was no plan at all. No one was talking about anything in the White House.
Trump was
to start from the scratch. This document is just starting from the scratch. Like we're back in January last year again. Literally, this is what's happening.
Well, look at this. Like I love this little thing right here that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Because when I think about the alternative, it was so Dr. Fauci, is there something that we can do? The bleach, it kills viruses. Is there, something that we could? No, but you look at this and it's like, boom, plan.
Yeah.
Even if this is all bullshit, even if there is nothing on the paper behind this at least gives people the at least a feeling that, okay, we're going somewhere. It gives you some kind of hope. It gives you some reason to maybe adhere to parts of the lockdown, even if you don't want to, because you see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a direction that we are being taken.
Like what's shocking to me is it's like I just said before, literally it feels like we're making a plan as if we're back in January last year, as if last year didn't happen, and you can see right in the beginning of the document, it says, on January 9th, 2020, the executive summary pretty much starts from last year. It doesn't even start like from here. It starts as if Trump didn't do shit. He literally didn't do nothing. We have to start as if we're picking up where we left. We're starting.
He did less than nothing. I mean, Trump's final ledger was minus 400,000 plus. So
we had no strategy. We had no one saying any kind of goal setting. Nothing was happening, ladies and gentlemen. So it almost feels shocking, no matter if like how many lies in this document. It's just the fact that we rolled through a pandemic where you couldn't leave your house. You wasn't sure if your job was coming back. Your kids are not learning as well as they used to. and no one was telling you anything about what was going to happen at all. Like, this is the first time in like almost a year, literally, that someone's saying that here's some goals that we're going to have during the global pandemic. It's like we sat through a whole year. This, like, I feel like this is insane, you know. So, I mean, it's a breath of fresh air to see this kind of stuff. Like goal setting, actually, like restore trust in the American people, because we don't trust any of you. Do we never do? I don't think we're going to trust you after this either. But you know, you can try. It's the thought that counts, I guess. So, so actually establish a national COVID response structure. You realize there wasn't a national COVID response structure this whole time. They have to establish it now. So, so that's what's happening when it comes to communicating with states, communicating with companies, communicating with the trucks, communicating with the planes, flying the vaccines. There hasn't been. There was no national oversight at all. Nothing's been happening.
I think that this is a really good thing to make sure that everybody's talking to each other that's involved, as long as people's individual liberties are adhered to as much as you can during a deadly pandemic situation. Because there are a lot of fears that Americans have of, people fear that this is going to be some way that they're going to take this and then use this to, well after the pandemic is over, use this to continue to infringe on the rights of the people. So as long as they are able to say, listen, this is a national coordination. This is not any draconian thing where we're looking to take away any more of your rights, any more than we absolutely have to in this situation. It's going to be all good. Now you just got to get people to buy into it.
Yeah, it's the thing. That's why the first thing is restore American trust. Even before telling you if you're going to get any money, if you like, you know, you're going to get a letter from Biden or anything, the first goal is restore trust. It's like nobody trusts us at all right now. So like, even before I can tell you,
even after I trust you, I still don't need a letter from you. Thank you.
Exactly. Even just can you trust me first before I tell you my plan? You know, this is what's happening. So then go to mount an effective vaccination campaign, because right now it is this. It just feels like those inflatable things at the car wash. It's going like that. It's just like the fuck is going
waving, the wacky waving.
Yeah, the wacky waving. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like, you know, people don't trust it. You know, people are getting their appointments delayed. If they do, rich people are getting it easily. So it's a big mess. And then another goal is this. Mitigate the spread through expanded masking, testing, treatment data, workforce, and clear public health standards. Isn't it crazy? This hasn't been happening.
Wacky waving inflatable tube man.
Wacky waving.
I had to make sure I got that right. Like, that's one of my favorite cutaway scenes in like the history of Family Guy.
Oh,
yeah, with the dude in Wake Up Hog. Oh shit.
So implement masking nationwide, but working with governors, mayors, and American people. So hopefully you wear a mask. If you think your rights being taken away because you wear a mask, you're a loser. You need to go to other countries where people are watching you do your wall, do a hole in it, you know. So like China. So people have this whole perspective of what is individual rights, what is human rights. And in the United States, really, people just ran into the Capitol and smashed it up, and it took them like 3-4 days to get arrested. The same people who were complaining about their rights being taken away from mass is just delusional. What do you mean by rights? You know, what the fuck are you talking about? You know,
we're just asking you to look out for somebody other than yourself. We're not saying that, you know, you can't go places and you can't do things. Like, we want you to go places and do things with a mask on your face.
The mask, wearing the mask actually allows you, the world, society, to be open. The less you wear a mask, the more opportunity for the state to shut down and crack things down. The less is the irony of it is it's like you wear a mask, the movie theaters will probably find a way to open up. You wear a mask, there might be concerts. You wear a mask, you know, there might be indoors, might be some sort of liminal indoor eating. You wear a mask, things might slowly open up. You don't wear a mask, you know, it'd be like, you know, now they can trace you with your phone. You know, the less you wear a mask, the more they control you. It feels like it's the opposite. You don't want a mask, sure. Then we have a crazy nightmare police state then, because this pandemic is so nightmarish that, you know, people are just dying everywhere. Then you have to have social control at that point, because it's a disaster at that point. So
yeah, I think that people were so short-sighted.
Yeah,
you know, people were complaining about not being able to get their hair cut, and it's like, if you're really worried about big government and you're worried about having your rights infringed upon, wouldn't it make sense if you're the government to allow 400,000 deaths? If you want to take over everybody, you want to basically enslave the entire country.
Exactly.
You know, when you have 400,000 deaths, just the sheer number of that is going to invoke a reaction where people are going to be tricked into giving up their rights voluntarily.
Yeah, the more people die, the more people may get scared.
Right. If people would have given up their rights for 3 weeks last March and April, and you kept the deaths to about, I don't know, 1,500, you keep it to half of a 9/11 and not like hundreds of 9/11s. To me, that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm, you know, maybe I'm being unreasonable here. But I was looking far-sighted, like, oh, just shut everything down for 21 days, stop the virus in its tracks, keep it moving. And it's not like we couldn't do it. We see New Zealand did it. It was definitely possible. But people were like, oh, my haircut. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, there's countries where sex work is totally legal, where it will blow your mind when it comes to kind of liberal rights there are in those countries, and you can see the percentage of people wearing those masks in Europe and stuff like that. So people don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to rights. So this is a giant White House doc that people can just scroll through. They also want to open schools, figure that out, because right now it was just a big mess with like bars being open and schools being closed. So now they have to figure out, you know, how to like deal with this kind of crazy ass situation we've been having the past few months, disrupting people's education over these terrible decisions. And then finally, actually these giant, because it also has been going on, the Defense Production Act actually get these mega companies that be making tons of money the past year or so during the pandemic while people are struggling, actually get these companies to like get their grease, you know, get their skin in the game and help, you know, United States, help the country get out of this pandemic with production. So this is a huge doc. I don't want to comb through the whole thing. We have a link in the YouTube video when we post it on YouTube, but it's exciting that you actually have something we can link to. The whole past few months during the pandemic, we had no White House document to link to about any plan about the coronavirus. And this is the first time in Black Power Magic Hour we have a document from the White House outlining a federal plan to deal with a pandemic. So that's the virus segment. You know, follow us on Facebook and Twitch, and our clips on YouTube, and then act.tv Genius. He's on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube all the time, every time. And act.tv YouTube, we have over 46,000. We have to have 47,000 subscribers, and check us out there. So that's the virus.